everyone. Hope you guys are doing well, staying safe and healthy at home and revising the concepts what we discussed in our last videos. Yes, about human digestive system and nutrition in animals. Yes. So again I am here with yet another important concept of life processes, that is, yes, respiration, guys. You all are right. So today we are going to discuss about respiration, without which the survival of living organism is impossible. Yes. So before it, how many of you think about breathing? Now itself, how many of you are thinking about breathing? Because most of us, we think respiration and breathing are two same processes, are two similar processes. Yes? Let me know in the comment section how many of you think about breathing now. Yes? Breathing and respiration. These two are completely two different processes. Yes? Breathing is different from respiration. Yes, but how? Yes, what breathing is. Yes, from the very childhood, we know about breathing. What it is? It is the inhale of oxygen and exhale of carbon dioxide. Yes, the inhaling of oxygen and the exhaling of carbon dioxide is called breathing. Yes, and it involves the nostrils. With the help of nose, yes or no? With the help of nose, we take the oxygen, and with the help of nose only, we exhale the carbon dioxide. That is what breathing is. But what respiration is? Yes, respiration is the utilization of that oxygen in breaking of the food molecules for the extraction of energy in the cell. Yes, guys, I'm going to repeat again. What is respiration, guys? So the process of releasing energy by utilizing oxygen in breaking the food molecule is called as your respiration. Guys, in human digestive system, we came across assimilation. Yes, guys, so what assimilation? The production of energy from the digested food materials is called as your assimilation. Now, the release of energy with the help of oxygen is called as your respiration. Yes, guys, respiration is the release of energy from the food with the help of oxygen is called as your respiration. And I remember I used the word oxidation of the food. Oxidation of the food. Oxidation of food means breaking of the digested food molecule or burning of the glucose to produce energy with the help of oxygen inside the cell and inside the mitochondria of the cell is called as your respiration. Yes, I hope guys you are clear about breathing and respiration now. So, respiration. So, once we have already digested the food, and the digested food is absorbed now, assimilated now. Now it's our turn, the body's turn to release and produce the energy in the mitochondria of the cell. And guys, since this energy production, the energy production takes place in the mitochondria of the cell, it can also be called as your cellular respiration, guys. Yes, what cellular respiration is? When the respiration takes place in the mitochondria of the cell, it's called as your cellular respiration, guys. So with the definition, you can write respiration involves taking in of the oxygen into the cells using oxygen for breaking or burning the food and then eliminating carbon dioxide and water as the waste product from our body. No doubt, energy is produced by burning of the food. Along with it, carbon dioxide and water is produced as a waste product. And carbon dioxide we exhale out. Yes, we release the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. But what about this water which is produced as a waste product? This water is used in the various metabolic processes which is taking place inside our body, guys. Yes? So once again I am going to repeat. Respiration involves taking in oxygen into the cells using oxygen for breaking or burning of the food or glucose, and then eliminating carbon dioxide and water as a waste product from the body. Yes, and it's also called as your cellular respiration since it takes place in the mitochondria of the cells. So you can write the equations like that. Food plus oxygen gives rise to your carbon dioxide, and water plus energy. Our goal is to produce energy. Yes guys. So let's move into breathing and respiration. We are clear. Now how energy is produced now. Yes guys, now we have to discuss how energy is produced during the respiration. Already we inhaled oxygen. Yes, assimilated food reached into the cell. So how energy is released now? Inside the cell what happens? Two important molecules or two important substances are present guys. Yes, in the cell, in the mitochondria, two important substances are present, that is called as your ADP. Yes, it is ADP, which is nothing but adenosine diphosphate. Yes, so ADP is adenosine diphosphate, which is a very low energy content. Yes, so adenosine diphosphate, which contains the 2-phosphate group. How many phosphate group does ADP have? ADP have 2 phosphate groups which has low energy content. The first substance present in the cell, and the second important substance which is present in the cell is inorganic phosphate. Yes, what it is? It is inorganic phosphate guys. We can write Pi. P denotes your phosphate group and I is your inorganic. So how many components or substances are present in the cell? It's ADP that contains your 2-phosphate group and which is a very low energy content, and another important substance is an inorganic phosphate which contains only 1 phosphate group and it's made up of phosphorus and oxygen. Now in the cell, with the help of ADP and with the help of inorganic phosphate, a high energy content is produced. That is nothing but ATP. Yes, by using ADP and using inorganic phosphate, a very high energy content substance is produced, that is called ATP. So ADP when combines with phosphate and energy which we get from respiration, it results in the formation of ATP, that is a very high energy component. Yes, and in this ATP is stored in the form of energy packets. Whenever our body requires energy guys, this ATP is released from the packets and we carry on with our metabolic activities. Yes guys, so ADP combines with the phosphate plus energy from respiration leads to the formation of a very high energy content, that is called as your ATP. Yes, what it is? Adenosine triphosphate. Don't forget guys. The things you have to remember is what ATP full form? Adenosine triphosphate, which is 3 molecules or 3 phosphate group. It has 3 phosphate group. And how ATP is formed? With ADP, which is a low energy content, combines with inorganic phosphate with the help of some energy which we get during respirations. Yes, so ADP plus phosphate plus energy forms ATP, which has 3 phosphate group. Yes, how many phosphate group? 3 phosphate group. But ADP has 2 phosphate group guys. So in this way what happened, that energy is produced. Okay, then when our body requires that energy, how we take that energy which is produced? That what happened? Again this ATP breaks down into ADP plus phosphate plus energy which is utilized by the cells of our body. Yes, ATP is formed by ADP and your phosphate, and when our body needs the energy, it again breaks down into ADP and phosphate and energy, which we utilize to carry our daily processes. Yes guys, so I hope you are clear about respiration. First thing, respiration means the release of energy by oxidation of the food with the help of oxygen by the breathing process is called as your respiration. Since second important thing, it takes place in the mitochondria of the cell, so it's called as your cellular respiration. And how this energy is produced? Because already our cell has got two important components, that is ADP and inorganic phosphate. Combining the ADP plus inorganic phosphate and the energy during respiration leads to the formation of a 3-phosphate molecule, a very high energy content, that is called as your ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Yes guys, so I hope you are noting down the points even that is written over there. Yes, now let's move on to types of respiration. Yes, so it's also a very important topic, that is types of respiration. Generally, there are two main types of respiration. First one is your aerobic respiration and the second one is your anaerobic respiration. So there are how many types of respiration? On the basis of the presence and absence of oxygen. Yes, the presence and absence of oxygen divides the respiration, classifies the respiration into two important categories, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration when there is the presence of oxygen. So whenever there is full of oxygen, it undergoes the process of aerobic respiration. But in case of anaerobic respiration, there is either lack of oxygen or complete absence of oxygen. Yes, so two types of respiration. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen and anaerobic respiration which takes place in the absence or lack of oxygen guys. Yes, so let's discuss in details about aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So I told you about the types of respiration. Aerobic respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen, and most human beings, dogs, cats, buffaloes, cows, insects, snakes, all of them follows the aerobic respiration. Means respiration in the presence of oxygen guys. And the second one is your anaerobic respiration which carries in the absence of oxygen, and it is mostly seen in yeast and in some bacteria guys. Yes, in some microscopic organism like yeast and bacteria, we can see the anaerobic respiration. Yes guys, the common thing what is, see, respiration means breaking of the glucose. Yes, so what happens in case of your aerobic respiration? Aerobic respiration in the presence of oxygen. So one molecule of glucose. Glucose means, yes, food. From the food we extract the glucose. Yes guys. So one molecule of glucose in the cytoplasm of the cell forms a 2-molecule compound that is called pyruvate or pyruvic acid guys. Yes. So one molecule of glucose forms the pyruvate or pyruvic acids in the cytoplasm of the cell. Yes, so first of all, what happened? A single molecule of glucose forms pyruvic acid in the cytoplasm of the cell, and in the mitochondria of the cell, with the help of oxygen or with the presence of oxygen, it forms 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 H2O plus 38 ATP. Yes, how many energy molecules? How many ATP molecules? 38 ATP molecules guys. Yes, one molecule of glucose gives rise to 38 ATP molecule of energy. 38 ATP packets of energy guys. Yes, so one molecule of glucose converts into pyruvic acid in the cytoplasm of the cell, and further this pyruvate in the mitochondria of the cell in the presence of oxygens give rise to 6 carbon dioxide 6H2O and 38 ATP. Remember, one molecule of glucose gives rise to 38 ATPs. Yes, and this reactions takes place in the mitochondria of the cell and in the presence of oxygen. Hence, it can be called as your aerobic respiration. Once again, guys, aerobic respiration means the breaking of the one molecule of glucose into pyruvic acid, and from the pyruvic acid in the mitochondria of the cell, it forms your 38 ATPs. Yes. Now, come to anaerobic respiration, guys. What is anaerobic respiration? Just now I told you, in the absence or in the lack of oxygen, guys. So, first one is your glucose. The same, the food, one molecule of your glucose. Yes, one molecule of glucose. Again in the cytoplasm, it forms the pyruvate, that is a two molecule compound or pyruvic acid in the absence of oxygen. Yes, guys, anaerobic means I told you in the absence of oxygen, and it takes place in the yeast cells. Yes, one molecule of glucose converts into pyruvate in the yeast cell. In the absence of oxygen, it forms your ethyl alcohol. Yes, it forms ethyl alcohol, that is C2H5OH plus carbon dioxide and only 2 ATPs. Yes, in yeast cell, one molecule of your glucose gives rise to 2 ATP. But here, the main thing what it produces is your alcohol. It produces the ethyl alcohol, guys. Yes, and that's why since it produces the alcohol, this process in yeast is called as fermentation. Yes, I can give you a best example, guys. So, let's take some sugar in a lukewarm water. Yes, and put some yeast powder in it. Yes, stir it well and cover the glass with a cover and leave it for a while. After some times, when you will cover the, you will open that lid now, you will just smell some kind of alcohol. Yes, that alcohol is called as your ethyl alcohol. Yes, guys, that is called as your ethyl alcohol, and the process is called as your fermentation. And here, guys, the carbon dioxide is produced now. This carbon dioxide, when we pass into lime water, it turns milky, guys. Yes, carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. So, in the absence of oxygen, in the yeast cell, one molecule of glucose produces ethyl alcohol and only 2 ATPs. Yes. Now, here another thing is that in the lack of oxygen, sometimes in our body also anaerobic respiration takes place. How? How anaerobic respiration takes place in our body? Yes, we are inhaling oxygen, but how? How anaerobic respiration in the absence of oxygen takes place in our body? Yes, guys, you might have observed when you have done a vigorous physical exercise. Yes, you start breathing faster and faster or not. You want to get more amount of oxygen at that time to produce energy. So during that span, what happened? Our body lacks the oxygen. So at that time, in the muscle cells, when there is a lack of oxygen in our body, yes, it produces lactic acid, guys. Yes. So when there is the lack of oxygen in the muscle cells of our body, yes, the one molecule of glucose breaks down to form 2 lactic acids and 2 ATP energy. Yes, and due to this accumulation of lactic acid, you might have observed that after running, sometimes you get pains or cramps in your muscles. Yes, that is because of the accumulation of your lactic acid. Due to the heavy accumulation of lactic acid, you get muscle cramps. Yes. So guys, so when inside the muscle cells of our body, when there is the lack of oxygen, yes, the one molecule of the glucose, again in the cytoplasm, changes to pyruvate, and in the muscle tissue, when there is the lack of oxygen, it produces 2 lactic acids and 2 ATP energy. And this lactic acid causes your muscle cramps. Yes, it causes your muscles cramps. Then how you get relief from muscle cramps? Just simple a hot bath. Yes, so when you are going to take a hot bath, the pain will slowly reduce, guys. So this is what the types of respiration, 2 types, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, that is in the presence of oxygen, where one molecule of glucose gives rise to 38 ATPs. And another one is your anaerobic respiration, which takes place in some yeast cells and in some bacteria, where the one molecule of glucose breaks to form ethyl alcohol and your 2 ATP. And in our body, in the muscle cells, when there is the lack of oxygen, this molecule of glucose breaks to form your lactic acid and 2 ATP. And due to this lactic acid, we get pains and muscle cramps. Yes guys, hope you guys understood today's concept about respiration. Soon we will be dealing with the respiration in living organism, in plants and human beings. Until then, you just revise, go through your books, revise well guys. All the best. See you soon.